You ever notice how people light up when you tell them you're working on something big? There's a certain rush in sharing your dreams. It feels validating. You get a few nods, maybe some compliments, and for a moment you feel like you've already made progress just by speaking it out loud. But here's the truth: that rush is a trap. That applause you get from sharing your goals can trick your brain into thinking you've already achieved something, when in reality, nothing has been done yet. That's why your long-term goals and strategies are something you should guard closely. Your ambitions are delicate in their early stages. They're like seedlings, small, fragile, vulnerable. You can't plant a seed in the ground and start inviting everyone to stomp around it, poking at it, questioning whether it will grow. The more eyes on it, the more pressure it feels. And the reality is, not everyone has the patience or faith to nurture what they can't see yet. They'll start planting their doubts, sometimes without even realizing it. Are you sure that's the right move? Isn't that risky? Do you really think you can pull that off? And while they may think they're being helpful, those questions are tiny cracks in your focus. There's another layer to this: jealousy. People don't always cheer for you because they want you to win. Sometimes they clap because they want to know when you might fall. Not everyone in your circle is rooting for your success. Some are rooting for your struggle because it makes them feel safer in their own lack of progress. The less they know about your plans, the fewer opportunities they have to plant seeds of doubt, discouragement, or even sabotage. And here's where it gets psychological. When you share your vision too soon, your brain gets a premature sense of completion. It's called the Zeigarnik effect, and it explains why we remember unfinished tasks more than finished ones. Talking about your goals tricks your mind into thinking the work has already started, and that lowers your drive to actually execute. You start replacing action with talk, momentum with daydreaming. This is why so many people have endless conversations about what they're going to do, but rarely make it to the part where they actually do it. Now, I'm not saying you should live in complete isolation, keeping all your plans locked in a vault. Trusted mentors, partners, or advisors, yes, those people matter. But even then, you have to choose carefully. Sharing your goals should feel less like a casual conversation and more like handing over the keys to a house. You wouldn't give those keys to just anyone, because once they're inside, they can rearrange things, change the locks, or even burn it down. Think about some of history's most successful people. You rarely hear about their moves while they're making them. You hear about them after the fact, when the work is done and the results are undeniable. That's not by accident. That's strategy. Silent progress is a form of self-defense. It protects you from external noise and gives you the space to make mistakes, refine your plan, and adjust without an audience waiting to see if you fail. Another danger of oversharing your long-term plans is that it invites premature accountability. You might think accountability is always good, and in some contexts it is, but when you tell the wrong people, you create accountability to people who have no stake in your success. Suddenly, you're performing for them, not for yourself. Your decisions start to shift to match their expectations instead of staying aligned with your own vision. And that's dangerous because now your dream isn't entirely yours anymore. The best moves you'll ever make in life often happen quietly. When no one's watching, you have the freedom to experiment, to fail without judgment, to pivot without explaining yourself. You don't owe the world a play of your progress. In fact, the less they know, the more they'll respect the final reveal. There's something powerful about unveiling results without ever hinting at the work behind them. It creates an element of mystery, and mystery is a form of power. We live in a culture that glorifies broadcasting everything: your meals, your workouts, your milestones, your struggles. Social media has trained us to believe that if it's not shared, it didn't happen. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Some of the most important work you'll ever do will be invisible to everyone but you. That's not a weakness. That's a sign you're focused. The world doesn't need to see your blueprints. They only need to see the building when it's finished. And let me be blunt, the more people know about your strategy, the easier it is for them to counter it. This is true in business, in personal goals, even in relationships. If you reveal your exact steps, you give away your advantage. It's like playing poker with your cards facing outward. You're going to lose not because you're bad at the game, but because you've removed the element of uncertainty. Strategy without secrecy isn't strategy. It's an open invitation for interference. This doesn't mean living in paranoia. It means living with discernment. It means understanding that your goals are not public property. You are allowed to be selective with your truth. You are allowed to keep things close to your chest until the time is right. And you are allowed to move in silence without apologizing for it. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to get ahead faster than others, here's part of the reason. They protect their plans like they protect their passwords. They understand that the more people weigh in, the heavier the goal becomes to carry. So they carry it lightly, quietly, until it becomes reality. Then, and only then, do they share the story on their own terms with the ending already written. Your vision is yours for a reason. No one else was given the exact combination of your experiences, your insight, and your drive, which means no one else is fully qualified to judge whether your path is valid. Guard it. Nurture it. Build it in private. Because when you finally reveal it to the world, it will stand tall not because you defended it against criticism, but because you never allowed that criticism to shape it in the first place. So the next time you feel tempted to announce your next big move, pause and ask yourself, am I sharing because it's necessary or because I want validation? Because if it's the second one, you're trading momentum for applause, and applause doesn't build dreams. Work does. The quiet path isn't the easy path. It's the disciplined one. But it's also the most rewarding because when you walk it, every step you take belongs entirely to you. And when you arrive at your destination, you'll know you got there not because the world pushed you forward, but because you pulled yourself there. Money is one of the most sensitive subjects in human interaction, and yet, for some reason, people treat it like casual conversation. They talk about how much they make, how much they saved, what they bought, what they owe. And on the surface, it feels harmless, just numbers, just facts. But money isn't just about numbers. Money is identity. It's choices. It's security. It's a mirror that reflects your priorities and your vulnerabilities. And when you hand that mirror to someone else, you have no control over how they use it. Sharing your financial details can change how people see you in ways you may never notice, but you will feel. If you make more than they expected, suddenly you're the lucky one, the one who doesn't need help, the one they might assume can afford to always pick up the bill. If you make less, suddenly you're the one who needs advice, pity, or worse, unsolicited judgment. Money triggers people's insecurities. It makes them compare. It makes them evaluate their worth in relation to yours. And that can poison relationships faster than almost anything else. You see, financial information isn't neutral. It carries emotional weight. We are taught from a young age that money is tied to status, freedom, and respect. So when you reveal your income, savings, or debt, you're not just giving someone a number. You're handing them a framework to measure you. That framework might be unconscious, but it's powerful. People start calculating in their heads what kind of car you should be driving, what kind of house you should own, what kind of life you should be living. And if your reality doesn't match their expectation, They'll draw conclusions that may have nothing to do with truth. There's also the danger of exposure. The more someone knows about your finances, the more they know about your capacity. What you can afford, what you can't, and where your limits are. That information in the wrong hands can be used to manipulate you. It might be as small as a friend forgetting their share of the dinner bill because they know you can handle it, or as serious as someone leveraging your financial weaknesses to control your decisions. The less people know, the less they can use against you, intentionally or unintentionally. And let's talk about trust for a moment. True trust doesn't require full disclosure. You can trust someone deeply without telling them the exact figure in your bank account. In fact, maintaining certain boundaries protects the trust rather than weakens it. Because once financial details enter the picture, human nature tends to complicate things. People may become entitled, envious, competitive, or overly cautious around you. And once that shift happens, it's hard to go back. Money also has a strange way of amplifying assumptions. If someone knows you earn well, they may assume you have no financial struggles. If someone knows you earn less, they may assume you're struggling even when you're perfectly content. Neither assumption may be true, but that's the risk when you give out financial information. You give out permission for people to rewrite your story in their own minds. Here's something important: privacy is not secrecy. Privacy is control. It's choosing what, when, and with whom to share. You are not hiding something by keeping your finances private. You are protecting the narrative of your life from being shaped by people who don't have all the context. Because financial numbers without context are misleading. An income figure doesn't reveal the cost of your life, your responsibilities, your investments, or your sacrifices. Without those details, people will fill in the blanks themselves. And they rarely fill them inaccurately. In a world where oversharing has become the norm, keeping your finances private can feel almost rebellious. Social media has turned wealth into performance. People post vacations, luxury purchases, even screenshots of bank balances, not realizing that they are creating unnecessary exposure. The more you display, the more people think they have the right to comment, to compare, or to compete. And that cycle never ends. Privacy removes you from that exhausting game. The truth is, your financial situation is as personal as your health, your faith, or your relationships. You wouldn't hand over your medical records to anyone who asked, so why would you hand over the blueprint of your economic life? The only people who should know those details are the ones who need them to help you. Your partner, your accountant, your financial advisor. Outside of that circle, your money is your business, no one else's. Another thing to consider: money attracts energy, some of it positive, a lot of it negative. If people believe you have more than they do, you may attract requests, expectations, even resentment. If they believe you have less, you may attract